Hi there. It's July 18th and time for Proverbs 18. Getting through another month here. Let's jump over there and we'll use a bit of computer magic here to make that disappear. Okay. Verse 1. One who isolates himself pursues selfish desires. He rebels against all sound judgment. And we'll highlight that just because we're going to. Now they're talking about being a recluse, okay? Never having any other kind of human contact. And there are people that live alone and they've made it so easy to never have human contact. Because in the grand scheme of things, Satan knows that that's not good. You need human contact. I mean, there are people now who never leave their house, and you can get your food delivered and your groceries and anything, and Amazon will deliver anything, and the groceries stores will deliver and leave it outside your door, so you never have to have even that much human contact. And it's not good. I mean, being that kind of a recluse, you need to get out. You need other believers, okay? Build each other up. Iron sharpens iron. Okay. And it's just not a good thing. Okay. Verse 2, a fool does not delight in understanding, but only wants to show off his opinions. Do you know people like this? I know people like this. Uncover his heart. Right. They want to tell you everything they know, like they know everything there is to know. Crazy, huh? And you're just naturally, you stay away from people like that, okay? 'Cause braggers and stuff. 3, when a wicked man comes, contempt also comes, and along with dishonor, disgrace. Now we're getting towards the end times, and there's a lot of wicked people out there. On the internet, even. Running countries and governments. For the words of a man's mouth are deep waters, a flowing river, a fountain of wisdom. And that could be taken both ways. It can be a good thing, it can be a bad thing. Okay? You have to know when to not say anything, which is most of the times. Be humble. Okay? Being humble is the most important attribute of wisdom, is being humble. So, yeah. The words of a man's mouth are deep waters. We'll come back to that. 5, it is not good to show partiality to the guilty by perverting justice due the innocent. Now this goes on today, right now. You don't even have to, here's the point. It's evidently obvious that innocent people are in jail while guilty people aren't even charged and allowed to run rampant and free. Okay? In California, they've changed the laws. It's okay to rob and steal something as long as you don't steal over $950 worth of stuff at a time. Okay? Showing partiality to the guilty. That's just, it's unbelievable, okay? We are in, like, Babylon and Sodom and Gomorrah. I mean, this is just crazy. And by doing so, by saying you could steal $950, and they'll have like 50 people run into a store and steal a bunch of stuff. And they get away with it because they didn't steal $950 each. And then the poor guy who owns this little store, okay, perverting justice due the innocent. He's lost tens of thousands of dollars and nobody will do anything about it. Most of them close and they go out of business, and their lifelong dreams are gone. That's a terrible thing, and it's going on right now, right in front of your eyes. Mm-hmm. A fool's lips lead to strife, and his mouth provokes a beating. Yeah. It's these fools. You keep shooting up your mouth, and somebody's going to punch you. Right? A fool's mouth is his devastation, and his lips are a trap for his life. Right? Same thing. Keep your mouth shut. 8, a gossip's words are like choice food that goes down to one's innermost being. And I harp on this every time I come across it. He speaks about it. At least every third chapter he speaks about gossip. And how God detests gossip, finds it abhorrible, deplorable, horrible, awful. One of the top things that God hates is gossip. Because it goes on in the church. It goes on between friends. It tears people apart. And it says right here, it's like choice food that goes down to one's innermost being. It's a drug. Gossip is like a drug. Okay. Most of Hollywood and even 90% of the internet is about gossip, you know? Telling somebody else's secrets and somebody else's business that is none of your business. And having you spread it to somebody, oh, did you hear what so-and-so did? Okay, that's gossip. And it's a drug, and it gets down into here and stays. There are people that are addicted to gossip and reality TV and anything somebody else says about somebody else that'll make them feel better about themselves. Well, I'm not doing that, so I'm a good person. It's a drug. God hates it. You need to get away from that. The first step to getting away from gossip is to turn off your television. Okay? The television is a gossip machine. Much of social media is a gossip machine. Okay? And it's like a drug. And yes, they're making billions of dollars off of this gossip. Hey, we could harp on that for a long time, and I usually do. Verse 9, the one who is truly lazy in his work is brother to a vandal. Right. If you're able to do something and you don't do it, you just sit around and let other people do it, you might as well be a thief. 10, the name of Yahweh is a strong tower. The righteous run to it and are protected. Right. The name of our Lord is a strong tower. Got that? 11, a rich man's wealth is his fortified city. In his imagination, it is like a high wall. Right? These rich people think they don't have anything to worry about, but usually doesn't turn out that way, does it? 12, before his downfall, a man's heart is proud, but humility comes before honor. Right? Is it people that shoot off their mouths? I'm prideful, going around telling you, this is what I do, and I'm better than you, and this and this and that and that. Before humility comes honor. Okay? Humility comes before honor. I got that backwards. Being humble. When you be true learner, be humble. Let somebody else build you up, and that's where honor comes from. Honor comes from somebody else. This guy is so wonderful. He did this and this and this, and works out better that way. 13, the one who gives an answer before he listens, this is foolishness and disgrace for him. Okay. This is very important. Okay. It's foolishness. How many times do you, when you're arguing or when you're debating, you cut the other person off? Okay? That's giving an answer before you listen. It says in James to be quick to listen and slow to speak. You're supposed to listen to a person's complete statement Okay, all the way until they finish talking. Then you think about it in your head. Then you formulate your answer. Then you say it in your head and say, is this going to help or hurt this situation? And if it's not going to help, don't say it. But you have to listen to the entire thing before you blurt out a response. Okay? It's just, and you can't stress this enough. And people don't do it. They just cut people off. Right. Something else you could talk about all day. Right? They've written entire books on this subject. 14, a man's spirit can endure sickness, but who can survive a broken spirit? Right. You get a broken spirit when you've been betrayed and when you lose hope. Okay, I'm never going to be able to pay these bills. I will never recover from this. Okay? You can endure sickness. Yeah, I got a cold. I got pneumonia. I'll get better. I'm miserable. But a broken spirit is when you lose hope. Okay? Hard to overcome that. Who can survive a broken spirit? 15, the mind of the discerning acquires knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeks it. Right? Get knowledge. Get wisdom. 16, the gift opens doors for a man and brings him before the great. Right. Now back in when Solomon was king, whenever another king or dignitary or somebody from another country wanted to get an audience with him, they would bring gifts. Like tons of gold and cedar and rare woods and spices and sometimes wives. And they always got their audience because they brought big gifts. Mm-hmm. Gift makes room for a man and brings him before the great. Right. Not always a good thing. These lobbyists use money to bribe our representatives into doing stuff they want instead of having our representative do what we want, what they were hired to do. So it can be a bad thing. It can be a good thing. Right? 17, the first to state his case seems right until another comes and cross-examines him. Right? So in the court system, the way it's supposed to work anyways, in America, the accuser goes first. Okay? Always. Okay, the plaintiff, they call him, or the accuser, goes first. This person did this and this and this, and he was here, and he did this, and he hit my car, and he destroyed my house, and he, hurt my friends. And once all this stuff is out here, and he seems right, and he seems right, and wow, he did all these horrible things. Then the cross-examine comes up. Then the defendant is allowed to speak last because he can say, I have photographic proof that I was in another state at the time. Here's a picture of me in the state. Here's me at this meeting. Here's a plane ticket that I used. And then suddenly the accuser is like, oh, we were wrong. And the people and the jury listening will go, oh, he wasn't there. We thought he did all these things until he was cross-examined and found out he wasn't even there and couldn't have possibly done it. Happens a lot. It's just a statement, okay? That first to state his case seems right until another comes and cross-examines him. Right? Listen to the whole story, okay? It's very important. A lot of people will jump to judgment when they only hear half of a story. And if you're listening to the TV or even on the internet, they're only going to tell you one side of the story. They're not going to tell you both sides of it, okay? Because they want you to form an opinion. Truth. Seek the truth. We spend enough time on that. 18, casting lot Casting the lot ends quarrels and separates powerful opponents. And they used to cast lots, okay? In football games now, big, powerful men, facing off against each other, they toss a coin. And wherever the coin lands, they accept the providence that is the way it's supposed to be. Back then they cast lots, now they flip a coin. And these big, huge armies of football players will accept the judgment of a coin dropped on the ground. Pretty cool, huh? 19. An offended brother is harder to reach than a fortified city, and quarrels are like the bars of a fortress. Right? This goes along with gossip. If you offend somebody, it's harder to get him back than it is to win a fortified city. And trying to argue with him is like the bars of a fortress. Okay? Once you offend somebody, it's even if you beg forgiveness, you've offended them. And it's going to be hard to win back their favor. Okay? It just says it's hard. Not impossible, but it says it is hard. Okay? 20. From the fruit of his mouth, a man's stomach is satisfied. He is filled with the products of his lips. Okay? What you say comes back on you every time. Always be kind. Always be courteous. It's not hard to do. Just don't be mean to somebody. All right? It'll come back to you. Whether good or whether bad. 21. Life and death are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. So again, goes with these two go together. Okay. Life and death. Okay. You could say very hurtful things and destroy somebody. Words are the most powerful things there are. Or you can be kind and build somebody up. Okay. 22. A man who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. Right? That's a good statement. Okay. 23. The poor man pleads, but the rich one answers roughly. Okay. That's hard. You're supposed to be kind to the poor and help the poor, especially if you have an abundance. Okay. That's a terrible thing. Poor man pleads. See these people on the roads, they're hungry and starving. And they get, well, pick yourself up and get a job and do this. They've lost hope. If you lose hope, and it said up top there, if you have a broken spirit, you can't. Sometimes you just can't. And you just want a meal. And average people, that's a bad thing. Okay, Jesus talked about this a lot. Okay. And 24, a man with many friends may be harmed. May be harmed. Friends must be friendly. But there is a friend who stays closer than a brother. Right? If you have a lot of friends or hanging out with a huge gang of people, chances are sooner or later they're going to throw you under the bus, okay? Or when you need them the most is when they won't be around, okay? But most people have one friend that's always there through thick and thin, no matter what. Even if you hardly ever talk, sometimes you know that if anything happened, you could count on this friend that would be closer than a brother, okay? Everybody needs a friend like that. So there you go. That's Proverbs 18. We can go over our highlights here real quick. I highlighted verse 1. One who isolates himself pursues selfish desires. He rebels against all sound judgment. All right. Get out. Go out with some friends. Laugh. Have a meal. Talk. Build each other up. It's important. Yeah, that's important. Highlighted 4, the words of a man's mouth are deep waters, a flowing river, a fountain of wisdom. Right? The words of a man's mouth are deep waters. Think about that. Words are very powerful. We highlighted 5. It's not good to show partiality to the guilty by perverting the justice due the innocent. We talked about this. Right? It's going on. It went on back then. It's going on now. Right? Nothing new under the sun, it says in the Bible. Highlighted 8. A gossip's words are like choice food that goes down to one's innermost being. The chambers of the belly. Yeah, gossip is a drug. You need to get away from gossip. I will harp on this every time I trip over this verse. I will harp on these verses. Gossip is a horrible thing. Tears apart friends. Okay? Things that you have no business knowing. Somebody else's struggles. Just stop listening. Turn off your television. If you're on the internet, just keep scrolling, okay? Don't stop and start arguing with somebody you never met or never will meet. Just keep scrolling. They say those things specifically to get a reaction. And if they never get a reaction, they'll stop saying those things. Right? Because nobody's listening. Highlighted 10. The name of Yahweh is a strong tower. The righteous run to it and are protected. Right. Raised high. If you need protection, run to God. Every time. Highlighted 12. Before his downfall, a man's heart is proud, but humility comes before honor. Right. If you want to be honored, you have to be humble. Right. You cannot honor yourself. Okay. Pride goes before a fall. Okay. You need to be humble and let other people build you up. And like in verse 1, if you're a recluse and you never get out, nobody's going to build you up because nobody knows you. Right? And 13, important. The one who gives an answer before he listens, this is foolishness and disgrace for him. Let somebody finish talking, okay? Listen to the whole thing before formulating a reply. Don't cut them off, right? Because then they feel invalidated and like you didn't listen to a word I said. You just cut me off in the middle. And we all do it, okay? Well, you get excited and you want to get your point out. You have to learn to wait, okay? Quick to listen, slow to speak. We'll do a study on that at some point. All right. We'll highlight 20 and 21. From the fruit of his mouth, a man's stomach is satisfied. He is filled with the product of his lips. Life and death are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. And that goes together. What you say will come back to you. Okay? What you say will feed you. If you say evil things, it will come back to you. If you say hurtful things, it will come back to you. That's what will fill you. You have the power to hurt somebody or to save somebody just with your words. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. Right? Sometimes it's best just not to speak at all. So, there you have it. That's Proverbs 18. Interesting. It keeps getting more interesting. Right? So, there you have it. Stay tuned later today. I think we're back in Kings and Chronicles again. On day 200 of our Through the Bible in a Year. Honestly, I'm getting tired of Kings and Chronicles and all the kings and all the horrible things they did. And I'm ready to move on with history, but we're following the timeline and they have us reading books all in weird order just to keep the timeline of chronology right. So we're on day 200, and we'll get there. So until later on, stay tuned for that. Give us a like if you think about it. Tell your friends. But until later, we'll do it again. See ya.